Hey guys, welcome back to an episode on the No Casuals channel. Now, as you can see, this is not a No Casuals episode because I'm not here with Luke. As you can tell, I'm not prepared. My hair is a mess. But what we're doing today is we're going to watch some fights from UFC 324 fighters before the big fight this Saturday between Paddy the Baddy Pimblett and Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Now, as you guys hopefully are aware, I'm a huge fan of Paddy Pimblett. I will be rooting for him hard, and I'm going to be going to this video with a very analytical lens towards where Paddy can find opportunities and where Gaethje can find not. And when we go to the other fights, I will talk about who I want to win, who I think will win, so on and so forth. Now, without further ado, here's
Chandler said he would put Gaethje on his heels.
so I know the captain has always been a very effective weapon for Justin Gaethje. I don't know how well it'll work against Paddy. Paddy's so long that I don't know if that will be a big part of his strategy. He's kind of gone away from it in the physique fight. The Poirier fight, he threw the head kicks a lot, but didn't throw the leg kicks that much off of it. So my take would be I will see less of that. I expect to see less of that from Gaethje, and I don't think it'll be as effective against Paddy. I was going to say Chandler guy is really heavy on his lead leg to generate those wrestling shots.
Oh, there goes one.
Paddy's not an outside shooter, not the same way. The tripper, he'll get you against the clinch and throw you in a way that Chandler was a sort of outside shot kind of guy. In theory, in theory.
And Gaethje's just
And there's a moment right here that I remember where Gaethje throws a hook and he wings it super far with the left hand, and right there, you look at that left hook. I'm gonna replay this. Excuse me. If you look at this left hook, I'm gonna put it in half speed. Not the best sound ever. See how he wings that? It's not a tight left hook. His chin is not tucked, but it's kind of sitting there. Whereas Paddy, if he does something like he did in the Verandamini fight, where he throws the counter hook at the same time, or in the Vargas fight, where he throws that hook at the same time, he can find a lot of damage there. Because Paddy, I think, has more raw power than, say, a Michael Chandler does. Now we'll go back to regular speed and we will continue to watch one of the greatest fights of all time.
a very good job over his career.
Actually, I was in the crowd for this fight. It was a special moment. One of the first fights I ever went to. This was the main event with them. It was special.
Makes his chin getting tested early. Justin Chin is
Look, all the jokes, all the memes about Chandler and how he cheats and whatever. He's a cool fighter. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is fun. He's cool. He's not the best fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's never gonna be a champion in my opinion, but he's a phenomenally fun fighter, and there's a reason he's a fan favorite. He'll be in the Hall of Fame for the fight way easily. This is an area where I'm concerned for Paddy. I'm not worried per se, but the clinches where Gaethje generates his most powerful offense, in my opinion, his uppercuts, his hooks. He's gonna throw it right here. Do a ton of damage. It's how he knocked down Chandler. It's how he knocked down Fiziev. That is where Paddy's also generates his best offense because that's where he gets almost all of his takedowns from is out of the clinch with his back against the fence, or when he's pressing you, he kind of turns into you. He'll pull guard, he'll pull a triangle choke, pull an armbar. Um, so I think that is where the fight will be decided is in this clinch exchange here because I find that if Paddy can get the trip and get the takedown against the cage, then the fight's his to lose. Whereas if Gaethje can throw his hooks, throw his uppercuts, and Paddy doesn't have a way to defend that effectively, then I think Gaethje can do some really significant damage to Paddy throughout the fight.
oh my goodness.
See, Chandler's throwing from his hips. Paddy doesn't throw like that. He wings his shots, but he doesn't throw from down here. He keeps his hands here and he kind of Nate Diaz's you know what I mean? Like he'll throw these really weird kind of meaty hooks, but he's not gonna throw like that. Gaethje can capitalize there easily, and I think the current version of Gaethje does. I think the current Gaethje probably throws a head kick there and disrupts the entire sequence. I don't know that Paddy will give him that opening, to be fair.
Doing that left leg up.
See that uppercut right there? I think that can land against Paddy. I don't think it'll affect Paddy much, but I think if it does happen enough times, it'll land and it'll land hard, and that can win points in the judges' scorecards. See this front headlock exchange here, like we're seeing here. I can absolutely see Paddy doing an outside trip, an inside trip, some type of judo throw, and getting Paddy on his back. And from there, I think the grappling difference is exceptional. I think Paddy's grappling is the best in the division. I think he has better grappling in 2026 than Charles Oliveira does. Thus, I find that if Gaethje gets baited into an exchange like this, where he's kind of front headlocking, I think Paddy can just roll them to the ground because Paddy's incredibly strong. I mean, he was king of the mat multiple years in a row at Next Gen. He's a phenomenally strong fighter, a very underrated fighter in terms of athleticism. Then I think he can get Gaethje down if he's in a position like this. I don't think Gaethje's takedown defense is good enough to combat that.
Shot from Chandler, not a bad one.
Patty will not take a shot like that. It's too far out for him. He'd be uncomfortable doing so, I feel like. Nobody's ever shot like that. See, it's in the clinch exchange where he gets his most effective offense always has been. Against Barbosa, he was close range. Against Alvarez, he had his best moments at close range. Poirier had his best moments in the first fight at close range. Same against Chandler, same with Steve. And I anticipate same with Patty when he does have his moments.
Significant strike, 75-67 unofficially for Gaethje, to your point.
6-7. 6-7.
Over 4 out of 6.
See that Patty's not doing that. Patty is not doing that, and he's also not going to reverse. Neither of those things are going to happen in this fight. Patty's not going to get his back taken by a Justin Gaethje, but at the same time, he's not going to be able to get a suplex on him. He's going to be able to throw him, not pick him up in the suplex, and that's not his style. This is the difference between a D1 wrestler at Mizzou and a phenomenal jiu-jitsu player. They just take down fundamentally different strategies and methods behind their takedowns. And I think the body work would be there for Patty, but I think it's going to be more there in the knees and the punches. I think he's going to throw a lot of teep kick, a lot of double knees, switch knees, shots up the middle. I think that is the most effective strategy for Patty to win this fight. Because if you see Gaethje ducks his head really significantly, Patty's talking about this in his interviews. I think when he does that, you can throw the knee to the body, and it'll come up and get him in the head in a way that will be very effective for Patty. I think that's in the stand-up exchanges, that's what he'll do the best is with the knees when Gaethje's ducking his head. I think he can do a ton of damage. I think he can put Gaethje out realistically. What a fight this was, for the record. It's phenomenal.
Cannot believe we got to the final decision. Straight shots, A to B, as the crow flies.
See, I don't know why they selected this fight for the 10 fights you must watch, because King Green fights so differently than how a Justin Gaethje will fight. But I think there are moments here, like that jab will be there for Patty against Gaethje, I find. He's so long and lanky.
Nice cat kick by Pindler.
And I'm a huge fan of King Green. He's one of my favorite fighters in the sport. I think the lead up to this fight was hilarious, to be honest. And that being said, King Green in 2024 is not the best win ever. Let's be honest. It's not the win that you need to get to a title shot. I think Chandler win isn't that either. I think honestly, Patty's best wins are Jared Gordon and Luigi Vandamini, because Vandamini's been on a crazy run since he left the UFC after losing for SCM and Patty. And I mean, don't get me started on Vandamini. Vandamini should be in the UFC for the record. But, and like Patty, the way Patty's locking the right leg of Green, the way that he's doing this, Fiziev had moments to do similar things to Gaethje and couldn't. Fiziev was able to get Gaethje down. It was very concerning. I don't know if I can see Patty doing it quite as easily against a guy like Gaethje, but if he can get Gaethje down, I think I see a similar sequence playing out. And I do think he may be able to get. And the question is if he can get Gaethje down, not because of the open shot, because of the trip threat in the clinch, but if he can and he can chain his submission together in the way that he just did, which I know for a fact that he can against Gaethje, because Fiziev almost did. The path to victory for Patty is quite clear. I thought Patty after the fight, or after the press conference was staring at King of what? You're the king of fucking nothing, lad. You're not even the king of the fucking lightweight division. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Patty's, you have to admit, one of the funniest fighters in the UFC, let alone the lightweight division. That being said, I believe that is my analysis of the main event. My official pick, the record, round 4 submission, Patty Pimblett. That is my official prediction. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I think that Gaethje will have a wobble. Patty will have a wobble. Patty will start to mount of control in the third, make Gaethje think, and then he'll get a late third round, early fourth round. Is my official no casuals Aiden Boyer prediction. So we're watching a very old Song Yadong fight. Again, the selection they've chosen is interesting because I think Song has had much better performances against much better opponents in the sense. I think he's at the Cejudo win was, despite not that finished, I think it was a pretty great win. Cejudo looks very good against Peyton Talbot, who I think is phenomenal. I also find that Song is and very strategically, I think they're trying to build Sean O'Malley over Song Yadong. Stylistically, it's a very disadvantageous matchup for Song. He's quick, he's got the power, but Sean's so tall. I don't know how Song can close the distance and get in range. And he's not going to take down a guy like Sean O'Malley. He's not going to be able to, I don't think. Again, Sean is so long for the division. I predict Sean O'Malley to win a decision here. Probably a reasonably entertaining fight, not super exciting. Not enough to win a title shot, but the UFC will give it to him anyway, kind of thing. I've got Sean O'Malley by a 30-27 decision, 3 close rounds is how I see it. But we should just enjoy the poetry here of Yadong knocking out Moraes here. Now, this is a very old Marlon Moraes, but this is still a phenomenal knockout. One of the knockouts of the year it happened. I will say the physique of Song Yadong is one of the better physiques in the UFC. I mean, the way his back is defined. And in terms of athleticism, he's a considerably better athlete than Sean O'Malley. I just think as a stylistic matchup, it's not as advantageous. I think that against a guy like Petr Yan, actually, I'd favor Song Yadong over Sean O'Malley in a fight like that. But I think
Dong is a problem. You got to
filthy, ridiculous knockout. So you can see here, Walter Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis is sort of the featured bout of the card. I think it's a phenomenal fight. I'm picking Cortez by decision here. Obviously Lewis can find the knockouts. I think Cortez Acosta is the next generation of heavyweights. I think he is entertaining. I think he's fun. I think he's very marketable. He's a former MLB pitcher. I think that Waldo is one of these guys that would be in title contention for a very long time. I think he may end up being the champion. I would like his odds against a guy like Tom Aspinall. I wouldn't like it as much against a guy like Cyril Gane, who I think is actually quite good. But I think that he beats a lot of the guys. I mean, he beat Aziz, who was on a tear. I think he beats Walter Walker convincingly. I think he beats Marco Tulio convincingly. A lot of these other up-and-coming heavyweights, I think he beats. I think he beats Vitor Petrino. I think he beats Stephen Aspland. I think he beats both Josh Hogan and Denzel Freeman, who are fighting the prelims of this card. I think he beats almost all the unranked great heavyweights. I think he beats a lot of the legacy heavyweights. I think he beats Volkov. I think he should beat Blades in a rematch, or not a rematch. I think he beats Blades. I think he beats Pavlovich in a rematch. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's really, really good. He looks better every fight. He looks so good in the last 2 outings. I've got Cortez winning a pretty convincing decision here, probably a 30-27 decision. 3 decent rounds, no knockdowns, nothing crazy, but just fastball, kick, fastball, body shot. Kind of like the Cyril Gane fight against Derek Lewis, where he just kind of is too quick, too much stimulus for Derek Lewis to process at one time and just overwhelms Lewis into sort of a state of pacifism, like we saw in the Cyril Gane fight, like we've seen happen to Derek Lewis before, and say Daniel Cormier as well. And Cortez has a phenomenal chin. I mean, he's so durable. And this is one of the worst stoppages. Mark Smith, I think, is the best ref in the sport. One of his worst moments. The way he stopped the fight after a clear foul. Let the finishing sequence begin. Let the coaches come in. Let the doctors come in. It's ridiculous. This is so professional. It's not realistic. And I think had Delia not let out his gas, the fight would have been a lot more competitive from this point forward. However, the fact that Waldo was able to do what he's about to do with one functional eye is incredibly tough. And the week after Aspinall lost to Gane with a very serious eye injury, it's a statement. It is a statement. Another insane knockout. One of my knockouts of the year, for the record. This knockout really moved me. I think Waldo Cortez is an outside competitor fighter of the year this past year. I think you should strap a rocket to this guy because he is going to go to the moon in the heavyweight division. And I don't think Derek Lewis will be able to sort of one-shot his way into it. So Towson Teixeira is another guy who I thought strap a rocket to him. He's the next guy. I think he is going to knock out Tai Tuivasa next week. However, I also find that Derek Lewis really kind of put him in his place. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is significantly more proven, significantly more tested than Towson Teixeira was at this time. I think Teixeira is still a phenomenal fighter because he'll be a top 5 fighter by the time that his career is said and done in the UFC. However, this was a really humbling moment for me. And I think that Derek Lewis is Derek Lewis. He has this power. He has that unorthodox nature, and he has the shots that he can put a guy like Cortez Acosta down if anyone can. I love Derek. How can you not love Derek Lewis? This is I know he's getting up. It's an illegal move. What a performance. What a performance. I mean, talk about a statement at the older age that he has. Moons the crowd. Derek Lewis, how can you not love him? If he wins on Saturday night, I won't be mad, but I am predicting Waldo Cortez Acosta to win a pretty dominant decision here. Hurt Lewis a couple times. Put him in some damage. Now, I'm watching this not because I'm a huge Arnold Allen fan, though I am, but because I'm a big Dan Hooker hater for obvious reasons. Dan Hooker is not a good person, and he will get bludgeoned by Santini, which is very exciting. But I'm going to watch Arnold Allen destroy him with quite a bit of pride. However, I do find that John Silva is so unpredictable and difficult to move. I think Arnold Allen is the second most underrated fighter. I think Arnold Allen is the second most underrated fighter at featherweight, honestly, in the UFC behind Steve Garcia. However, I also maybe Evolov, second or third. However, I find that John Silva's movement, his unpredictability is next level. I think that he will find a way to win. Using his elbows, his knees, stuff that nobody has seen before, including Arnold Allen, despite the fact that he's got a long and very successful career in the UFC. I mean, he's been in the UFC since before the Reebok deal. But forget about that. He's pretty young. He started so young, and he had so many injuries early in his career that you forget how long he's been in the UFC. But he's phenomenal. He's had close fights with Holloway. Had a phenomenal win over Hooker. As we can see here, Hooker's getting demolished by a guy who's never going to be a champion. It's all respect to Arnold Allen. I don't think he's going to do that, but I'm just enjoying watching Hooker get the pull beat out of him by a guy that's never going to fight for a title, nor will Dan Hooker, to be quite fair.
But then hits his
And Arnold Allen is a sniper. He's so accurate with his shots in a way that John Silva is not. He's a lot less powerful. He's slower. I think that overall he's going to have struggles finding the timing of a John Silva as opposed to a guy like Dan Hooker, who's a bit slower, quite a bit slower, and a lot more orthodox in his fighting approach. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. This has been Aiden Boyer with his expert opinions on UFC 394. If you want a quick summary, my picks are in this order. John Silva is going to knock out Arnold Allen. Natalia and Karina Silva are in the same weight class and the same last name. They were both on good win streaks at one point. I get them mixed up all the time. Natalia Silva will unanimous decision versus Arnold to get a title shot. Walter Cortez Acosta will unanimous decision. Derek Lewis, Sean O'Malley will unanimous decision. I almost said Sean Brady. It's been a slow morning. Sean O'Malley will unanimous decision. Sonya Dong and Patty Pimblett will submit. Jessica Gaethje on 4. Thank you guys for watching. This has been a No Casual special from me, Aiden Boyer, to you. Have a good day, and best of luck to Patty this weekend.